Right, so today I want to make this video to talk about censorship and specifically the big tech censorship that's been going on for probably, it's gotten really bad in the last, 2 years or so, but it's getting worse, it seems like, by the week. But this story is basically Republican Devin Nunes sues Twitter for censoring conservatives, and he alleges harassment. Um, So he's suing them for $250 million for censorship of conservatives. Even if he wins, I highly doubt he gets that much, but we'll see. In a complaint filed Monday, Nunes, a Republican from California, alleged that Twitter has taken sides in America, or in America's left-right political divide, doing things like shadow banning, all along while we're refusing to take action against bad things that the left or people on the left does. Um, and I'm not going to go too much into the article. I just wanted to have this as kind of a example or whatever. But I know Trump has tweeted out several times about how bad it is and how we need to stop it. He hasn't done a whole lot to tackle the issue, but I hope he does. But basically, these two tweets are Twitter shadow banning prominent Republicans, not good. We will look into this discriminatory and illegal practice at once. And the other one was, and these were from July 26th of 2018 and March 19th of 2019, so this second one was very recent. But Facebook, Google, Twitter, not to mention the corrupt media, are so on the side of the radical left Democrats, but fear not, we will win anyway, just like we did before. That was actually this morning, so this is a very, very recent article. Or a very recent tweet as well. But basically what I wanted to talk about was why they're doing this, because I think that's something that kind of people gloss over and people don't really understand. And a lot of people that are in the middle or on the left, or maybe they'll call themselves a center left or center right. Those kind of people, they seem to be kind of naive when it comes to this stuff, because they don't really seem to understand why people would want to do this. And the reason they want to do it is very simple. There's a game going on. I'll just put it as simple as possible. There's the game going on between the left and the right, and of course there's different aspects to each side, and there's people that say that I'm neither one, but people tend to align more with one than the other, even if they say they're neither one or the other. So you have the people on the left and the people on the right, and they're trying to win, and they're trying to get one thing, and there's two of them. So only one of them can win. And if the game is to be played fair through reason, evidence, fair debate, stuff like that, one side's going to lose, and one side's probably going to lose a lot more than the other. So, and what's been happening is the left has been losing. So what they do is that they want to cheat, and that's where the censorship comes from. And basically, I'm sure there's people that are going to debate this. I'll just throw it in that Project Veritas has caught engineers at Twitter saying they shadow ban conservatives. People at YouTube, they've caught Google, or people who work at Google, saying that they should have did more to influence the 2016 election, which all the people who talk about the Russia, which is completely made up. Google actually was trying to influence the election, and no one seems to care, so it just shows how hypocritical those people are. But it's not up for debate. I think people who want to debate it are just, no amount of evidence will prove it. I know, like I said, Project Veritas has done tens of videos exposing these companies, proving them on undercover camera, even video or video on camera, audio, all that stuff. Them saying that they ban them. I know you have prominent people on the left saying that there should be more censorship. And the other thing too I would preface is that if you look back at past instances of censorship throughout history, all of them have completely backfired, and none of them have proven to be legitimate. They've all went the completely wrong way. You look at like the satanic panic and punk rock music, that kind of stuff, where um, all that kind of stuff, it always backfires, and it does the opposite of what the people who want to censor intend. But a lot of people will turn around and say, well, you should let them censor if um, that's what if you know that it's going to backfire. And I think that's a decent point, but the problem with that is that's, number one, it's so completely immoral. Like, I mean, Twitter, all these YouTube, all these places say that they're a fair and open, unbiased platform when they're clearly not. So if you want to make that claim, well, that's fine, but then they should really stop. They should stop saying that they're fair and open and unbiased platforms, because if they are, then they're clearly not living up to those standards, which means they should be sued. If they're not, then the problem is, if they want to censor, then let's say someone on Twitter or YouTube posts a video or a tweet that's saying they're going to go kill someone. They go kill someone, well then Twitter or YouTube should be and could be held liable, because if you're not an unbiased open platform, then that means that you can be held responsible for stuff that happens on your platform, because you censor, which means you should be getting rid of that stuff. Now, if you're a unbiased open platform, well then you don't censor, which means you can't be held responsible for that stuff because you don't censor. And that's the big thing that no one seems to talk about on either side, is that, and this needs to be accepted too, is that if they're going to censor, then they need to be held responsible for this stuff. And number two, if they're going to be an unbiased platform, then they need to stop censoring. And 95% of the people they're censoring have no community guidelines strikes, all this stuff. They're removing Tommy Robinson for doing nothing wrong, Alex Jones, nothing wrong, and even the stuff that he's done in the past, it's kind of a little shady. He has apologized for and changed his tone on the subject. So, those are kind of two prominent people, but you have people on the left saying things like calling for the deaths of people, like after the Covington shooting. These are verified people, even a lot of them. None of them were censored. Alex Jones, Tommy Robinson, none of these people are calling for people to be killed. They're not inciting violence, but they're censored. But these people on the left who are calling for violence against people who are on the right, and they're not censored. So, stuff like that it's just clear evidence. And if you're gonna pretend like that's not evidence, then you're absolutely insane or absolutely biased, or probably both. But that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to get across of the censorship, is that the reason they're censoring is because they can't win the argument. If you could win the argument, then there'd be no point in censoring. Like, if you're the better team in a hockey game or a football game, then you'd have no reason to cheat, because if you cheat, then you don't get the dopamine hit, or you don't feel as satisfied when you win by cheating than if you win by not cheating, basically. And the other thing too is that the left isn't even winning by doing, a lot of times, by the amount of cheating they're doing, so they have to ramp it up. Bringing in thousands or hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants to vote for them. That's not even winning, So they need to censor, and they need to do other things as well. So that's kind of the point I wanted to get across. The reason they're censoring is, obviously there's probably more than one, but it's because they can't win the argument. If they could win the argument, then they would have no reason to censor. And the debate, if they could win the debate, they'd have no reason to censor. And a lot of people who kind of fall for this crap that, they have good intentions or whatever, that's complete BS. The reason they want to censor is they can't win the argument or the debate. And just because you have good intentions doesn't mean anything. Like, Joseph Stalin had good intentions, and he oversaw the deaths of tens of millions of people. Communists, even a lot of fascists, have good intentions, but doesn't mean that it makes it okay. Those are both very, very horrible ideologies and should be condemned. But so people saying that, they have good intentions, you deserve zero legitimacy if that's what you think, because good intentions means absolutely nothing. It's the results of your intentions is what matter. So that's about it as far as I had for this video goes. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.